Hi friends, welcome to Asagao Academy with me, Abob. I love dating sims. I want to preface this. I think they're hilarious and awesome, and they're super fun. They're just cute. And this is a dating sim where you can date members of the Normal Boots Club, which I think is awesome because I love the Normal Boots guys, and they always do some really interesting stuff. A few of them have played this, and it's fun to watch their reactions. And I watched a little bit, and then I decided, no, I need to play this for myself. So, Chapter 1. I love the pink hair. The train made its way along the gentle curve of the coast of Japan, whisking me farther and farther from home. Across from me sat a boy, face half buried in a newspaper. He was deeply entranced in whatever article he was reading and hadn't spoken a single word to me, even when I asked if I could join him in the last compartment with any available space. He shrugged, nodded, and adjusted his newspaper without ever making eye contact. It'd been almost an hour, in fact, and he hadn't once looked at me. Devoid of conversation, I took instead to counting the buttons on the pretentiously lush carmine seat cushions. 1, 2, 3, 21, 22, and so forth, over and over. The thing for that with me is, like, I'd have a book or I'd, like, have my crochet or something like that. Like, who takes a long train ride without anything to do? Now, it does come out that, like, Hana doesn't have a lot of money, but I still feel like she could read a textbook or something. Now and again, I turned to look out the window where the trees were blurring by. Sometimes the smeared green would break and reveal the quiet blue of the Sea of Japan, which sounds gorgeous. Oh, that sounds beautiful. Eventually, this rapidity made my stomach churn, and I went back to counting the buttons on the seat cushions. I believe that. My dad and sister get really motion sick, and so, like, the smallest things can sometimes set them off. 1, 2, 3. The train compartment shuddered around us. My eyes wandered to the boy in his jacket. It wasn't the school-issued blue that I and the other students on the train were wearing. Instead, it was a green, varsity-like jacket with an embroidered patch poorly sewn on the front. So you're a first year, then? He folded his newspaper neatly, set it in his lap, and looked at me with a half-interested gaze. We all know who this is. It's Jared. And he's, like, dreamy Jared. I love it. Did he just catch me staring? Now that the paper was gone, I saw his face. He watched me through heavy-lidded eyes. His hair was immaculately groomed, his teeth straight and blindingly bright. There was something about him, the way the light hit him, that made him look like he was almost sparkling? Me? He glanced around the compartment, empty besides us, and laughed. Oh, no, I'm not a first year. I'm a third year. The train began to slow, metal wheels groaning against metal tracks. The sudden shift threatened to rob me of whatever was left in my stomach, but I closed my eyes and took a deep breath, willing myself to keep it together. What kind of impression would I leave, puking on a student before I even arrived at the academy? The boy frowned. I picked at the hem of my cotton skirt. That's not possible. I've never seen you before. It took me a moment of mouth fishing to find a response. Is that like word vomit? It's because I'm a transfer student? He laughed again. A transfer student, huh? We don't get many of those. I removed my acceptance letter from the front pocket of my uniform. The paper, heavyweight, off-white, had accumulated creases from my reading and rereading, as if the words might have changed since the last time I read it. The boy took it, studied it, then handed it back to me.
I'll see you
Well
around.
then, Hana, I suppose I'll be seeing you around. He smiled at me as he picked up his suitcase lying next to him. By the time I hiccuped a response, he was already gone from the compartment. I stared out into the empty hallway of the train. Aw, she's so shy and it's so cute. It was then that I realized he, having gotten it from my acceptance letter, knew my name, and I never got his. You'll find him again, Hana. I believe you. You can do it. The train settled at the station, and I filed out with the rest of the uniformed students. Oh, The sound in this is really good. I like this song, and the opening cinematic is really cool. I don't know who the artist of the opening song is, but it's awesome. I just love the sound of it. It was early April, and the last frost of winter had come and gone. The trees were already green, their leaves shivering in the occasional gusts weaving through them. The air was mild, only a few clouds hanging in the sky. I walked along the road with a swarm of blue-jacketed bodies looking at the little groups breaking off from the crowd. Everyone was buzzing so animatedly around me. I held my suitcase tight in my sweaty hands. It was leather-bound and worth more than anything it contained. It wasn't far to the school, and I was, for maybe the first time in my life, thankful that what I owned didn't amount to much. Oh, that's so sad. Oh, that poor girl. My school-issued black Oxfords clicked on the pavement. I walked this walk over and over in my mind. So many nights I lay awake, imagining what it would be like to walk from the train station to Asagao Academy for the first time. Like, it's a very heartwarming and heartbreaking story because, I really love Hana. I think she's so sweet and so cute. My new start. I always imagined that everything would change for me on this walk. That somehow everything would be magically different. But as I looked around, I realized nothing had changed. Except everything. Everything's changed. I hadn't changed. Oh, so many feels. By the time I reached the massive gate to the academy, I forgot all about the disappointment slouching in the back of my throat. There you go. Now you have changed. You're excited! Yay! The school, framed by the gate's twisting black metal, was just as beautiful as the glossy photos I saw in its pamphlets. That's gorgeous. We don't really have, boarding schools where I am. There's a few, but not a lot. So I've really never been around a boarding school, and I think it's cool. I loved the idea of Harry Potter where you took the train to go to the school and you've all lived in this one big castle. I think it's neat, but also I kind of romanticize it. It's probably not as cool as I think it is. This was it. Asagao Academy. I glanced around. The swarm of students gathered around the gate. Beyond it, tiny blue people bounced around the academy's main building. Sorry, when you say tiny blue people, that makes me think that we're talking about, aliens or something. A girl pressed a button to one side of the gate. The excitement in the air was almost palpable. A few moments later, the black gate, with great effort, creaked outwards and cleared the pathway. That's silly. Why would you have it open outwards when people are trying to come in? You should have it open inwards. Whatever. As the rest of the group shifted into motion, I followed along, a sheep in the herd. My stomach tied itself into knots. The crowd split off in different directions. For a moment, I panicked. A tired-looking man with graying hair called out for first years, a cluster of fresh-faced students gathering around him. Tall boy. Hey, look at that girl. I turned. A few feet away, a small group of boys were pointing at me and snickering. Jackasses. Pink hair? Are you kidding me? How desperate can you get? Hot shame crawled down my neck. I attached myself to a group of girls, following a few steps behind them. In the distance, cicadas hummed in time to my shoes crunching against gravel. I think pink hair is awesome. You go girl, you rock that pink hair. My hair. It wasn't my fault that my hair looked like this. That is correct, because you are an anime character, so of course you have to have different colored hair than everybody else. Luckily, I found myself at the girls' dormitory, a large sign in the lawn reading Primrose House. The building dwarfed me in size and sheer intimidation. How many students did Asagao have? As I approached the building, a red-headed girl lingering nearby caught my attention. I looked away, then looked back. She was staring at me. She walked over. Hi?
Oh, you must be my roommate!
Hi? Who are you? I eyed her warily. She was smiling and bouncing in a way that suggested her views on life were akin to a perpetual bouncy castle. Oh, Hana, that's so cynical of you. Me?
What?
Of course
Bingo.
you, silly. Let me guess. Room 325? I thought back to the paper I received a month prior with a list of all the supplies I needed for the year and my dorm arrangements. And yeah, that's right. She laughed, but I couldn't figure out what was so funny. Was she laughing at me? When I found out my roommate was a transfer student, I knew you were going to be a total main character. Call out. I love fourth wall breaking stuff. It's fun. I'm sorry. A what? When I saw you outside the gate, I knew it was you. I mean, look at that hair. Oh no, wrong thing to say, wrong thing to say. I felt a lump forming in my throat. What was she talking about? She had to be making fun of me. I hadn't spent more than 5 minutes on campus and I was already being mocked. My hands began to tremble. Is there something wrong with my hair? Her face slackened from its amused smile to a more worried expression. Then she began to laugh again. One of the things I love about dating sims is that even if the characters don't move, you can just see a lot of what's happening in their face, and they're very expressive. Like, you're telling a story, and the important part of telling a story is telling me what a character's feeling. Yeah. The sound design in this game is so good. No!
Oh, no. It's great. I'm sorry.
Can't always tell when they're going to talk and when I'm going to talk.
We're getting off on the wrong foot, aren't we? Oh, gosh.
Oh, whoever voices her is so cute.
I'm Mai Sasaki.
Oh,
You must be Hana.
I love you, Mai. I love you, whoever voices Mai. I bowed my head. It's nice to meet you, Mai. All your school books are waiting in our room with your welcome letter, and I read the envelope. I hope you're not mad. Mai started walking towards the dorm's front doors. I followed behind like a lost puppy. Well, you are lost. Did you check in at the front desk already? No, I didn't. I didn't know I was supposed to. Good. They'll offer to have a staff member give you a tour of the campus, but I can show you around. We don't get many transfer students in year 3, you know. Oh, is that your only bag? Just the one? I'm glad I brought an extra bag of stuff to decorate our room with. I started already. I hope you don't mind. But I did wait to string the lights. I thought we could do it together, you know? Oh my god, Mai is so sweet. I want a best girlfriend like Mai. All of my best friends are guys, and it's not the same. Like, I love having guy best friends, but girls do cute things like this, and I love it. But I am not that cute kind of girl. I need someone to, like, do that for me. She spoke quickly, the words bubbling from her mouth, and left me no time to answer until the end of her monologue. Yeah, okay, that sounds good. Mai kind of reminds me of, like, a more outgoing Hermione Granger. She held the front door open for me, and I hurried inside. Girls filed up and down the hallway, howling greetings and exchanging vague niceties that were, more often than not, "How was your break?" and "Look at how tan you got." Obviously, in this world, I don't know if in Japan as a whole, but in this world, school starts in mid-April, which in Canada it starts in September, so like I could see, look at how tan you got. So I guess, do you go to like exotic places? Like, do you go places where there's a lot of sun? I don't know. If anyone does know, let me know, because I'm curious. I love learning new cultures and like cultural traditions. It seemed like everyone knew each other. I followed Mai as she led me through the maze of students and up 2 flights of stairs. Each dorm floor looked the same as the last, narrow, white doors lining both sides of the pale pink walls. Thin, gold numbers were tacked to the front of each, numbers rising as we climbed. I'm not a fan of the, like, girls are pink, boys are blue kind of thing, but, like, if you have a dormitory called Primrose House, it kind of makes sense, because, like, a primrose is a pinky color. You're not missing anything with the campus tour, I promise. Mr. Saitomo does them every year, and he's, like, totally dull. He just drags you around the entire campus and talks in that weird, squeaky voice of his. I'll tell you everything you need to know. I don't know why, but to me, my kind of voice is like a valley girl. I smiled, trying to let this calm my nerves. Thanks. We headed down a hallway on the 3rd floor. Mai stopped us in front of a door numbered 325. Here we are! A faint smell of potpourri wafted through the room. The walls, like the hallway, were a soft, powdery pink. Ma already defaced them with a tapestry of posters, magazine cutouts, and photographs. Some of the photos were of cats, but most were of male models and rugged musicians. Nothing wrong with that. I love Obsession by Alvin Stein with the teddy bear. That's just too cute. Tortured souls. Only my guitar understands me. That sounds like something I would listen to when I was in junior high. This totally sounds... I love it. And the kitties. I love this. This is so cute. This is such a great room. I didn't go away for university, so I've never had like a dorm experience. So I'm gonna live vicariously through Hana, because isn't that why we play video games? A bunk bed, 2 writing desks with wooden chairs, a small dresser, and a mirrored vanity, all clearly provided by the school, were the only pieces of furniture in the tiny room. The top bunk was already covered in neatly tucked blankets and throw pillows of clashing patterns and colors. Nothing wrong with that. The bottom bunk had a single stiff-looking pillow and a thin cotton blanket that I didn't need to touch to know was horribly itchy. Yes, sometimes they can be. But again, that's a reason that I crochet, because then you can like make your own blankets that are super warm and super soft. I must have grimaced because Mai quickly smiled at me. I brought way too many pillows and blankets. I always overpack. I went to Italy over break and Mom got really mad at me because I brought 5 bags, but we were only there for a week. Oh my god. Like, I tend to overpack. Like, I'm bad for it. I will bring a larger suitcase than is necessary. But 5 bags for a week? Depending on where we're going and what we're doing when we travel, I will, like, if I'm just going to my cabin or something like that, I'll have my bag of clothes, and then everything will be stuffed in there, and I'll have, like, way too many clothes to change into. But I also bring a shoe bag, and that's not just me, that's, like, basically everyone in my family. If we're driving somewhere, we pack a bag of shoes, because you never know what kind of shoes you're gonna need. And we have to have, like, our hiking boots, our flip-flops, stuff like that. Uh-oh. Oh no, we glitched. Oh, it was like the rap remix version of the song. She laughed, pulled several blankets and pillows from her bunk, and rearranged them neatly on mine. A sudden twinge of guilt and embarrassment hit me. Oh, Hana.
Perfection.
There, that's much better. Thanks, Mai. Oh, Hana. She's super embarrassed about being poor, and I think that's super sad, and I understand why. But I'm like, no, you shouldn't be embarrassed. You should feel good, because this girl is so sweet and nice to you. I placed my suitcase on the bottom bunk and began to unpack its contents. Several changes of clothing, pens and pencils, empty notebooks, a few photographs of my father, a dilapidated stuffed rabbit, an old portable radio, and a small black box. Ooh, what's in the black box? Mai opened the curtains and the sunlight poured in. Oh, I don't think my computer likes this game very much, so we might be plagued by some remixes. So, where are you from? I slid the now empty suitcase under the bottom bunk. About 2 hours north of here. It's a small town called Amarisu? Amaririsu? You probably haven't heard of it. Japanese is just, it's a language that escapes me, because I haven't learned it. I set the stuffed rabbit, Mr. Bunny, on my bed beside a purple and teal throw pillow. Oh, when we're kids, we're so imaginative with how we name our toys, aren't we? Oh, did you go to a different boarding school, or... No, I went to a public school down the street from my house. Sorry, everyone. Public school? What was that like? Were the students mean? Did you have a lot of friends? I always went to private schools. My parents work a lot and my dad goes overseas, so I think they stuck me here for convenience. Again, I think she's a little... she's a little like Valley Girl Hermione Granger in my mind. Oh hey, what's that? I removed an ornately patterned origami crane from the black box and was setting it on the unclaimed writing desk. Oh, this? My mother made it for me a long time ago. I set it beside a stack of thick textbooks, which I assumed were provided for me. Wow.
Aww.
It's so pretty. I've never seen paper like that before. Oh yeah, the lights. Let me get them. The look of like shock and fear. Mai went to her own desk, opened the drawer, and pulled out a long, tangled string of fairy lights. I thought these would look nice. Here, help me string them up.
What? Yeah!